I'm in the trunk.
One of the greatest and strongest emotions you and I will ever feel in our lives is the irresistible and horrible need to be understood, to be seen by other people. Oftentimes, when a person hurts you, the venomous bite of injustice gnaws away at you, and you want them to experience the pain that you felt when they hurt you. We call it revenge, and it feels good. But does it really? Is that brief rush of dopamine worth the crash? Worth the careless obsession over another person's action?
Boring. Let's talk about something cool. In the massively successful book and movie trilogy, The Lord of the Rings, the One Ring is an endless temptation for power and satisfaction, and everyone desires it, believing it will bring them happiness. Newsflash, the ring is actually bad for you, and it makes you insane. So the story's main protagonist, Frodo, goes on a journey to cast it into a giant volcano, where it will blow up in a big explosion. However, his path to said volcano is not safe, and among many of the dangers on the road is the character Gollum. Gollum had possession over the ring for many years before Frodo's mentor, Bilbo, found it in his gross fish cave. And it took over Gollum's psyche, replacing his previous human-like body and mind with a skinny, sinewy, heroin addict-looking bag of bones with an unquenchable thirst for the One Ring, which Frodo has. Not good.
Frodo already knew about Gollum from long before he met him on the road, from his mentor's stories. And he knew from these stories how evil he was, what he had done to Bilbo, and what he could do to him. Despite this, when Frodo had the chance to end Gollum's life, he decided to spare him out of pity. He had every chance to rid the world of somebody who everyone thought was evil, but he chose not to. It's easy to be disappointed that Gollum lives, despite how obviously horrible he is, like how much he deserved it. And to us, the viewers from outside the story, Frodo might seem pretty stupid to us, short-sighted. However, as we'll see later in the story, we would be very wrong to assume that. What could be interpreted as a moment of weakness turned out to be the very decision that the success of his mission depended on. Imagine for a second that you're in high school and you just asked out the girl you had a crush on, only to find out that she actually likes your friend and not you. Maybe it was the way you asked. Maybe it was your outfit. Maybe you should have worn deodorant. Either way, it didn't feel good, and now you're upset. Well, don't be, because now it's time to play everyone's favorite teenage game, Who Should I Blame for This? Hey, welcome back to Who Should I Blame for This, the game show where you direct your human illogical fury at something and decide who is to blame. Let's give a big hand to today's contestants. First up, from Northern Alberta, Mr. Billy Bob Brown, who just got rejected by his crush. Oh, too bad, so sad. Second up, President Donald Trump of the United States, so I was not expecting that. And for our final contestant from way out in the wild, wild west, Mr. Arthur Morgan. So fellas, how are we feeling today? I'm all right, I guess. I reckon Mary Bob just rejected me though.
We need to bomb Iran.
Who you calling fella, boy?
Okay, round one. I will read a prompt for a situation, and whoever can guess the correct party at fault will be rewarded a point. Talk fast, think quicker, and all around, just let go and have a little fun. Prompt one. A man is pulled over on the side of the street by a policeman. For context, he was ripping a good and honest 145 kilometers an hour. 90 miles an hour for those of us who are imperially inclined. The policeman approaches the driver's side door with his hand on his weapon. As he approaches, the man in the car opens fire with a semi-automatic .22. Now my question for you, who is at fault for this unfortunate altercation?
It was one of the left, the radical left.
Vengeance is an idiot's game.
I'd say the guy with the .22 is at fault here. Well, I hate to say it, but you are all wrong, because we all know people don't kill people, guns do.
I reckon that don't make much sense.
Round two. A friend requests assistance in a violent conflict. Out of loyalty, you immediately up and go to help him, and you start attacking the enemy at hand. Who is at fault for this violent state of affairs?
Benjamin, great man, wonderful man.
Yes, Mr. Morgan, what do you think?
Well, they've been loyal. You know that all that ever mattered to me was loyalty? It was all I knew.
I wish I could bomb Mary Bob's farm. Okay, round 3. The father figure in your life who taught you everything about loyalty and morality turns his back on you as you are dying in the dirt. You gave him all you had. Who is to blame for this?
I believe I gave him all I had. And in the end, I tried. I did. Past the death, and killing, and the betrayal. I stood for one thing. The one thing I knew for sure was right. Loyalty. I found my end. And it wasn't good, but it wasn't all bad either.
You're a good man, Donald.
Like Mr. Morgan said,
Vengeance is an idiot's game.
but I'm not talking about murder or robbing a bank. I'm talking about life in general. Truth is, you will never regret being the bigger person.
Boom, boom, boom.
Because every moment you spend obsessing over how someone wronged you or offended you is a waste of your time. When you plot your revenge, whatever that may be, it's also a waste of your time.
Whoa, Corin's caveman brain. What do you mean revenge? Like stealing their money? Or burning down their property? No, silly. I mean like planning to trip them down the stairs.
Or whispering dark secrets into the ears of their enemies. Or blowing up their poop bins.
No.
Something like that.
No, revenge is simply the final result, the final action from a series of obsessive thoughts, patterns, and ideas, all milling around in your head. It might look like justifying to yourself why it's right and just that you get back at them. Maybe why you were in the right and why it isn't fair, and how wronged you were, pitying yourself for the horrible things that people have done to you. But let me ask you something.
Herschel, man, let me ask you something.
If the person who wronged you did it on purpose, did it maliciously, do you really think the best way to deal with the situation is to think about it all the time? You're giving them exactly what they want. If someone really maliciously wronged you, what they want from you is to be hurt. This is the best way for that to happen. Obsess over it all day, every day. Let it become a cycle in your mind that never ends. It reminds me of Carmy in the show The Bear, when he sees his emotionally abusive mentor after many years of being graduated from his cooking school. Carmy's upset when he sees him. It floods his mind with memories of sleepless nights, anxiety, a knotted up stomach, and morning vomit. All these terrible things this man caused in his life during his time in school. But at this party where Carmy sees him, he confronts him and tells him just how much his actions have haunted him for so many years, despite never seeing each other. But despite all this suffering that Carmy went through at the hands of this guy, when he meets him and finally says to him,
I think about you too much.
Chef David turns to him and says,
I don't think about you.
I want to be clear. In this case, Chef David is supposed to be a terrible person, somebody who actually meant Carmy harm. He even said he used his abuse to make Carmy a great chef. However, the vast majority of the people you and I encounter in our lives who hurt us probably did it by accident.
Now, is that wrong? Yes, they should be thinking about how their actions affect other people. We're not here to talk about whether something is right or wrong. We're talking about what will make you happier. So, for the peace of your own mind, remember the phrase, ignorance before malice. What this means is that the stupid or hurtful things that people do, 9 times out of 10 are by accident or out of ignorance, rather than because they wanted to cause you pain. Boring! Back to awesome and cool Lord of the Rings. Remember when I said that Frodo's decision to spare Gollum would be the thing that helps him succeed? Well, what happens is that by the time they get to the volcano, Frodo has been captivated by the ring and has reached an obsessive state of mind very similar to the one that Gollum has. So, as he stands by the volcano's edge with the ring in his hand and is told to destroy it, he refuses. It has become so important to him, and it's consumed his mind.
The ring is mine.
At this point in the story, there's a plane going by. At this point in the story, everything seems lost. They're this close to their goal, but it seems like everything is going to fall apart. Just at this point, Gollum comes rushing in and tackles Frodo, biting off his invisible ring finger. The ring also makes you invisible. I think I forgot to say that. In Gollum's joy to finally have the ring back in his grasp again, he stumbles. And he falls into the volcano and does a big freaking explosion. What I'm trying to make is that Frodo decides not to take revenge. And because of this one action, the very creature that he spared finishes his mission for him. Now, this is just a story, but a real historical example of this, of American veteran and Olympic athlete Louis Zamperini. Zamperini was an Air Force bombardier in World War II. And during a search and rescue mission, he crash landed in the Pacific Ocean, and he drifted for 47 days on the ocean, himself and 2 crewmates. They eventually washed up on Japanese shores, where they were captured by Japanese troops. From then on, Zamperini spent the remainder of the war being sent from camp to camp as a prisoner. Every camp he went to, he was beaten and tortured. Matsuhiro Watanabe, nicknamed the Bird, was an untried war criminal known for horrific mistreatment of prisoners of war, and personally carried out much of Zamperini's torture. After the war, Zamperini suffered from PTSD and alcoholism. Despite years of war and torture, being beaten by Matsuhiro, despite all of this, he was in Japan many years later, and he reached out to meet with Matsuhiro, the Bird. Not to berate him, yell at him, or scream at him, or make him understand the immense amount of pain he went through at his hands, but to tell him that he forgave him. Matsuhiro refused to meet with him, and Zamperini did write him a letter explaining how he felt about the situation and forgiving him for what he'd done. There's no evidence that Matsuhiro ever read it. The point I'm making is simple. Zamperini suffered horribly, but after all of that, was strong enough to put his pain and hate aside and forgive him. My question for you, do you want to be weak or do you want to be strong? I've been wronged in my life by lots of people, and I'm sure you have as well. And I'm sure we will both be hurt again. See, that's the unfortunate reality of having relationships. You will get hurt, and that's a price you have to pay. So, if we can't control what happens to us, unless we want to be hermits or monks and live alone in the woods, the best we can do is learn how to react to it. There is no easy fix for being hurt, but in my experience, the 2 biggest factors are time and, more importantly, your understanding of other people, yourself, and how your empathy can extend to them. People are imperfect, it's true. But so are you. So am I. We all do stupid things, and many of those stupid things involve the feelings of other people. I've found that the key to letting go is to understand that people are who they are because of the forces at work in their lives and their own choices. Their parents, their friends, teachers, strangers in the park, their coworkers, dogs they've met, the house they grew up in, the street they lived on, the city they grew up in, the job that they hate, their hopes, their dreams, their anxieties, and their accomplishments, and the constant fear that no matter what they do, they will never be truly good enough. The way that these relationships with people, things, situations impact them makes them who they are, the same way that it makes me and you who we are. People make choices, sure, we all do, but we all tend to emphasize the way we are treated and make excuses for how we treat other people. Sarah cut me in line. She just doesn't care about how I feel. I cut Sarah in line, but that's because I was late for class. Austin parked really close to my car, and now it's gonna be a huge hassle to get out. It's because he's ignorant and stupid. I parked too close to Austin, but I was just rushing because I was late, because I did all the work on our group project. I do so much for him, and he does basically nothing for me. See the issue here? Because there's an issue. It's not little, it's pretty bad. Maybe empathizing is hard to do, I understand. So let's get practical. The best time to let go of someone hurting you is right when it happens. The longer you wait, the worse it'll get. That's why it's important to immediately cut off your anger with some logic. I would advise experimenting to see what combination of mental exercises work for you. But in case you don't feel like it, here's a general checklist. Number 1. If I did what the person did to me, would I make excuses for myself? If so, what are those excuses? Make them for that person. So let's say a guy cuts you off in traffic and swerves into the exit right ahead of you. Put yourself in his shoes for a second and don't think to yourself, well, I would have never gotten to that situation. Just imagine you're in the exact same situation. Personally, if I cut someone off, I would feel terrible. I would feel like an idiot. But it wouldn't have been malicious, meaning I wasn't trying to hurt the person, and I would have done it for a good reason. Probably. Boom, apply it to him, and now the guy who cut you off actually makes sense. Number 2, does what happened to me really change my life? If the negative event that happened to you could be forgotten in 5 minutes, maybe it's not worth getting upset over. At this point, you're just making problems for yourself. Number 3, is this going to make me any happier? Remember, the goal here is to protect your peace, to be happier. Keep your eyes on the goal. If reacting the way you are isn't going to make you happier in an hour, then let that serve as fuel to you to let it go. If none of this works, it's probably time for drugs and alcohol. That's a joke, legally. Please do not use drugs and alcohol to cope with your problems. No, for real, if any of these mental exercises don't work for you, then I want to bring your attention to 2 factors. Number 1 is time. I'm sure you've noticed by now that every single year you look back at your past self and think, wow, why did I do that? Why did I dress like that? Why did I date that person? I was so immature. I was so stupid. Time changes you. Not because it's some mystical outside force that just makes your life different. It's because of the forces that I mentioned before. Your parents, your siblings, your developing brain and body, your job, the environment you live in, and especially the environment you cannot escape, which is your mind. The more you practice these mental exercises, the stronger you will be at letting things go. If you stack this up every day, the effect could be astronomical. Now, this isn't some kind of pseudoscience. There's a lot of neuroscience that goes into this idea. However, I am not a professional, and all I can share with you is my personal experience and what has worked for me. Now, the second factor is that this works both ways. Your brain is constantly running mental gymnastics, and just as it can run them positively, like what we're trying to do, it runs them negatively as well. There are cycles of both thought and action in your mind that can be caused by certain triggers that can feed your anger and obsession with getting back at somebody. For example, let's say you had a messy breakup and things went downhill. Even after a year of being apart, you're still thinking about them, still thinking about what they did to you. Now, there's a few cycles that are probably running through your mind periodically. Maybe you see something that reminds you of them. Picture on your phone a place you and that person went together, and now you're upset. Then you check their socials just to see. You get even more upset, and suddenly all the memories start pouring back in, and suddenly you're back in your obsession. If you stack behaviors like this up more and more and more, and it becomes a part of your life that you just can't seem to shake, the important thing is to know what these triggers are and avoid them. In this case, the trigger was seeing something or being in a situation that reminded you of a person. Some ideas, maybe you throw out the item that reminded you, or move it somewhere else out of view. And if the trigger starts, cut that thought off at the root. You can learn all about that on another video on my channel called How to Stop Overthinking and Be Happy Again. Thank you for watching my video all the way to the end. That's super appreciated. Since you've come this far, I would really appreciate a like for the video, subscribe if you want more, leave a comment down below and let me know what you thought. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and have a great rest of your day.